Here's what you missed on Living Richardson. I fear this may be a little unhinged, but it is what it is. I don't even know where to start. Do we go back to the beginning? I feel like I've gone back to the beginning so many times. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3. I've always been a very theatrical, artsy-fartsy person. I started a blog back in like 2015. And then during COVID, I found TikTok. I grew a following on TikTok doing humorous and relatable motherhood and marriage content. And over time, I started telling my authentic stories and built it even bigger. In 2021, we decided to move into what we considered our dream home. Here it comes. We became really good friends with our next door neighbors when we first moved in, but then after a couple months, things got weird when they attempted a land grab, and then we told them that they were wrong, and we got a land survey and proved that we were in fact right, and they couldn't steal our land or the basin on that land. They decided to install a Ring camera on the fence line, but angled to our yard that could see the entirety of my back property and into the windows of my home, including my children's bedroom and bathroom. And, we just felt like our privacy was being invaded. After trying to communicate with these people who were our friends, that did not go well. After we tried to block the camera multiple times to where they kept moving it past our blockage. After we contacted the police to ask if there was anything we could do about the camera, things escalated. Legally, since it's on their property, they can angle it wherever they want, so if I really wanted to press any charges, it would all have to be done civilly. Since I had a platform and I tell my true life, authentic stories, I decided to talk about this camera. My life blew up. They love picking the worst screenshot of you. Even though I never showed their faces, I never said their name, and never even actually really showed their property much other than what would have been like public if you drove down the street, they filed a defamation lawsuit against me in the amount of $1.6 million. I'm gonna pause this right here. Just because somebody is a content creator or has a decent following online does not mean they are rolling in the dough. I do not sell my soul to brands, and that is where they make most of their money. I'm just here doing my thing, and people either enjoy my content or it's like a train wreck that they can't walk away from. After a very, very traumatizing, insane 2-year legal battle with our next door neighbors, everything was dismissed, but nobody wins in a lawsuit. My family endured years of stalking and harassment from complete internet strangers, but also the person living next door to us. Mean words on the internet aren't that scary when you live next door to your stalker. People think the fact that we moved means we lost. Once this situation turned into what it was, we knew there was no way once it was over we would be staying there for so many reasons. So in April of 2024, we finally moved and that chapter of our life was over. Or so we thought. That situation itself might have been over, but we are already carrying so much fucking shit. We have had to adapt to a new home, a new district that once again is not what it's chalked up to be. I have had to help my children navigate what it's like being a new kid in a world that is not nice to new kids. During the lawsuit, I was in a little situation at my local nail salon and got triggered when she turned her camera on me. So then I posted it to the internet and ended up on Customer Wars. I have since deleted that video because I realized that that was not my finest hour, but I will speak out if I see something. Back in 2022, I did start a podcast called Living Richardson where I share stories about my life and my opinions and just something for you guys to listen to. Throughout the process and adjustment of the lawsuit and the move, you can definitely tell my podcast content shifted a bit. I'm gonna be honest, the nail salon incident was the moment I realized I truly had a platform, that the stuff I post is going to get seen. And I don't wanna be somebody that uses their power for bad. The whole reason I've been so open with talking about things is because I struggle with mental illness. I'm still trying to figure out what works best for me. And the more I opened up about my struggles, the more people felt seen. So I keep showing up despite the struggles that I'm going through. But when you have a platform, people are always going to question your motives. So I thought if I created a trauma and grief advocacy nonprofit, people would realize that I'm truly trying to help and be the person that a younger version of me would have needed. So I got involved in a local missing persons case that turned out to be a lot more than just a missing persons case. And I poured my whole heart and soul into it, but my motives were still questioned. I was still under attack for being an influencer and a creator. So that meant that nothing that I'm doing is real or authentic. So after a year of running and funding the nonprofit completely on my own, I solely was running it with the money I made from content creation. And I realized that I'm not in a position to run an agency like a nonprofit. I don't trust anybody to help me run it. And I have too much to focus on just with my own kids. And I'm honestly sick of everything I'm doing being questioned when I'm allowed to make a living to support my family. I'm allowed to talk about what's happened to me. I've had to learn to be okay with being the villain in everybody else's story because I'm not living in theirs. So after a year of the nonprofit, I have officially closed it. And after trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with my life and this platform, I've decided to evolve my podcast, what was formerly known as Living Richardson, and you can still go listen to all the episodes, learn a little bit more about my story, but I am adapting and evolving it and changing the title that it is now the Silent Mother Project with Sam Richardson. This way, I am only running one podcast where you will still get my stories as a mother who knows what it's like to be silenced, as a grieving mother with trauma. It's kind of like my little diary. Plus, I'm going to incorporate the stories that you all want to share with me. I already had the pleasure of interviewing a few women, and we kind of started it as a Silent Mother Project podcast. Now that I'm going to merge them, I will refeature all of their episodes. Everything snowballed so fast, and I was just trying to survive it all and figure out what my next move should be. Once you get hit with a few cease and desist letters, it's time to reevaluate some things. So we're going back to the basics. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3 in a very small, red, Midwestern town. I've been a mom my whole life. I gave birth and lost my first daughter at the age of 19. I struggle with several mental illnesses, which I like to say is my personal bowl of alphabet soup. I'm here to talk about the funny times and the struggles and letting you know you're not alone. If you are interested in listening to my podcast or would like to share your story with me and others, you can find it at thesilentmotherproject.com. My long-term goals is to write a memoir, but to be a fiction writer. I love telling my real, authentic stories, but I also have some really great ideas for narratives that I can control. I've lost a lot of people over the past few years, and that's okay, because the only people's opinions that matter to me are those living in this house. It's none of my business what anybody else has to say about me. Everyone wants to go viral because they think it will change their life, and it will.